Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L, and now let's talk Knights and Magic episode 12. I really think the highlight of this episode for me is really at the beginning with just how jarring Ernesti's what is. Hearing the kid being shocked is, it's different. It's a different thing. And Ernesti's rhetoric for the majority of the episode was really pushing it. Like, the kid is a caricature of mecha fans. Like, holy man, like, it ultimately makes for an interesting character, but at some points I just wonder like how much of him is just these outlandish statements with mechas just kind of focused around it. It's very interesting, and again, like Ernesti's rhetoric at the end of the episode with him saying like, yeah, he wants mechas to be the ruling force in technology. I think that's the most legit motivation we've ever had for a person wanting to destroy a warship. So that's pretty cool. But anyway, guys, Knights of Magic episode 12. So this episode, it's the Knight of Magic flair. It would have been a fighting episode, a battle episode, but it was actually just a battling episode till the to the midway point, and then it became pretty much a setup for the final confrontation. So we were doing a lot of things. Like in the first half of the battle, we dealt with the sword bro. He's got his swords, and then he has like that cool boost system that we found out from Ernesti, and we have like Ernesti's theory about that boost system or that special reactor, and we find out it can't sustain itself. So that was pretty cool. But the sword bro and D got his fight. I think that was pretty cool. Again, I'm just kind of impressed with his suit being able to like go Trans Am pretty much. Trans Am is something from Gundam, made them go faster, stronger. Pretty much what this guy did, except he did it with a black kind of flare behind it. Anyway, not the point. It was pretty cool to see that. But yeah, overall, like, we're just going through a battle. Like, the first battle had the highlights of D doing stuff and just being awesome, and Ernesti going up and dealing with the Drake for the first round. Pretty interesting stuff overall. The Drake is just really, we get to see more of it in this episode, and it's just really a giant gun. Actually, thousands of guns put together. Or I guess, since guns aren't really a thing in the world, 1,000 of magic rods put together. It can do a lot of stuff. I was very surprised at the maneuverability of the Drake. I really thought it was just kind of like solid. It couldn't really move its neck or its arms, but it actually can. So that was a neat surprise. The thing with I don't think that the CG with the Drake is the best thing we've had on Knights of Magic so far, just because to a degree the CG looked really stiff. It's not the same as the monsters that have, I think, a bit more movement. Well, have a bit more fluidity to their movements. With the Drake, it was like it gave the impression that it wasn't going to be able to bend the way it did. But it worked that out. It was cool. Now overall, if I was to say like who was the best character in this arc, I think really it has to go hands down like Horatio. He is like I respect the bro, man. Like he's doing well. Like we get him still in this episode, and he's doing some weird engineer stuff. Like he's talking out to the sky and like predicting when his bro has to go and launch his special weapons. And it's like, yeah, all right. This guy has weird habits, right? Like he's playing with a model bird, and then last time he was caressing the face of a statue. He has weird habits. We already know that, but with Horatio, it's just, I like how smart this guy is. Again, he's just so smart. In this episode, we see him make a counter for Ernesti, and it's specifically that he takes advantage of the fact that the thrusters are going to take in air, and he puts in particles into the air so that he can damage the thrusters grafting or whatever. That's pretty cool. Again, like Horatio is showing us he has fundamental knowledge, and that is how he is trumping Ernesti. Now, mind you, the narrative is Ernesti and him have ended off in a tie. Although, again, the big thing here is like Ernesti's packing knowledge from another world. He's packing common sense from another world. Horatio is seeing what Ernesti's doing and countering it. And, he's coming up with logic to beat Ernesti's logic. And it's not logic that is being borrowed. It's just logic that he himself is working out. So, again, like that distinction does make any time that Horatio is able to one-up Ernesti, it makes it just a bit more impressive, because this is... What is that sound? Sorry about that. It just makes him. It's homegrown, right? It seems more impressive. I think that's a point that we can all argue for, and I think that's a point that can be easily argued for. Anyway, another thing that I really enjoyed with Horatio in this episode, he had some pretty interesting rhetoric, and that's like the rhetoric of how, engineers talk to each other. They talk to each other through their designs, and that's like, yeah, you know what? That's cool. That's a cool little idea to like bring it up. That's how they have their conversation. They keep one-upping each other, and that's really what's going to be happening. It's going to be those two one-upping each other in war. If there's one guarantee, it's that people are going to keep one-upping each other when it comes to the technology development. And truthfully, we see that at the end of the episode with Ernesti remodeling one of Horatio's airships into something that I forget the name, but he remodeled it. It looks kind of cool. Now, again, the thing here is that Horatio is pretty much developing technology on his own without sampling Ernesti's beyond the first suit that was stolen that kingdom modeled all their other suits after. But with Ernesti, it's just flat out like Ernesti has to take Horatio's technology as a base. Like, I do think we are being told here subtly that, yeah, this guy is probably smarter than Ernesti just because he's fighting a bigger uphill battle than Ernesti is. So, overall, I really respect the character. I do think he is the one that's getting the best done to him for this arc. Now, other things that I really want to point out, again, I said the fight with D was pretty good, but in that fight, what ultimately gave, not D, particularly Ernesti, what gave Ernesti a bit of a advantage or a bit of breathing room to do his thing was when Addy went and fired javelins at it. Now that was really good because you have this situation where the side characters are still putting in effort and can actually make a difference. Like Ernesti is not all powerful, and that's very good for this genre that we still have a technically weak protagonist at this point. But yeah, I just really like that. Have your friends still be relevant for your plot. It's pretty cool. On D's side, at the end of the episode, because his suit got damaged, he's going in and sneaking into the fort to bring down the drawbridges with the smaller silhouette gears. I think that's cool as well. D really got he got some pretty nice moments in this episode between his fight with Sword Bro and then dealing with things on a much smaller scale. I think it's good enough. That said, the thing with Knights of Magic is that we pretty much dropped off the characters after the first arc, the second arc. We dropped off of them, and now they're just people that we know exist and we can imagine are growing, but we're not really seeing the process of the growth. We only end up seeing the results, and it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate because you had characters like Edgar and you had characters like D, and we ultimately don't get to see much beyond them. And I think that is one of the unfortunate points about this. Yeah, I think it's one of the unfortunate points about this adaptation. And this problem is more prevalent when it's with the characters that are introduced in the arc that we're in, such as the princess. Now, if you watched the previous videos, I had a point about the princess, but in this case, she's taking initiative more. Or sorry, she's the queen now. I guess I should respect that. Yeah, the queen. She has initiative now. She's taking initiative. She's the one that leads the plan at the end. And you know what? That's cool. I respect that. But this comes back to the thing of we know months passed, so it's totally within reason for her to have gotten her development during those time skips. It's just unfortunate that we missed out on that development. Now we're just seeing the end result. And, it's just, this is one of the traits of this particular adaptation. It's just the skipping of development. We don't really see them again, but we end up with a character who's doing a lot better, but we can only assume that they had development, but we don't actually know what the development was. It's kind of unfortunate. And it's just, I know that the light novel or the web novel does a better job in this regard. I'm pretty sure it does, because even from early on, we had indications. We knew that some arcs were being skipped for the twins, and we know that those were like pretty important arcs for them as characters to establish them. So saying that the light novel probably focuses a bit more on the characters, or at least spotlights them a little bit more, probably isn't an incorrect statement to say. But yeah, overall though, Knights of Magic, almost the last episode. We're almost there. I enjoy Horatio. He's pretty cool. I'm happy to see a dragon in a blue robot fight. I think it'll be pretty it'll be fun at least. But yeah, guys, let me know what you thought down below. And yeah, till next time, I hope you have a great day.